USPAP information. Yes, I can perform that assignment. USPAP flexibility at a glance. There is inherent flexibility in the Uniform Standards of Professional Appraisal Practice, USPAP. The scope of work concept enables appraisers to perform a wide variety of assignments while maintaining compliance with USPAP. The scope of work rule requires the appraiser to produce credible assignment results, but requires only those analysis that are necessary for credible results given the intended use. The chart below provides some examples of the many types of assignments an appraiser may perform. Assignment types: oral appraisal reports. An example is a client does not require a written report. Allowed by USPAP? Yes. How does USPAP apply? Standards 2, 8, and 10. Assignment type: purchase price negotiation. An example is a potential buyer is considering purchasing a property or business. Allowed by USPAP? Yes. How does USPAP apply? Standards 1 and 2, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Assignment type: calculation engagement. An example is a CEO is considering an acquisition and wants to know the calculated result given a specific valuation method. Allowed by USPAP? Yes. How does USPAP apply? Standards 9 and 10. Assignment type: consulting / appraisal consulting. An example is a client is considering developing a vacant parcel and is looking for maximum return. Allowed by USPAP? Yes. And USPAP applies by Advisory Opinion 21. Assignment type: appraisals for litigation / expert witness testimony. An example is an attorney needs an impartial opinion of value for legal proceedings. Does USPAP apply? Yes. And it applies because of standards 1 and 2, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Assignment type: evaluations for lending. An example is a lender needs an evaluation providing an opinion of market value to ensure a loan is adequately collateralized. USPAP applies, yes. And standards 1 and 2 and Advisory Opinion 13 apply. Assignment type: appraisals for lending. An example is a lender needs an appraisal providing an opinion of market value to ensure a loan is adequately collateralized. Does USPAP apply? Yes. And USPAP applies because of standards 1 and 2 and 7 and 8. An assignment type is an appraisal review. An example is a client needs to know whether or not an appraisal is credible. Allowed by USPAP? Yes. And standards 3 and 4 apply. An assignment type is appraisals for charitable contributions. An example is an individual donating real or personal property requires a qualified appraisal performed by a qualified appraiser. Allowed by USPAP? Yes. Standards 1 and 2 and 7 and 8 apply. An example of an assignment type is appraisals for estates. An example is an executor needs to know the value of property in order to equitably settle an estate. An executor needs to know the fair market value to pay estate taxes. Does USPAP apply? Yes. And standards 1 and 2, 5 and 6, 7, 8 and 9, and 10 apply. Assignment type, appraisals for insurance. An example is a property owner wants to know how much insurance coverage is adequate. A property owner needs an independent appraisal to help settle a damage/loss claim. Does USPAP apply? Yes. Standards 1 and 2, 7 and 8 apply to that assignment type. An assignment type, desktop/bifurcated. An example is an appraiser is asked to perform an appraisal without personally inspecting the subject property. Allowed by USPAP? Yes. The scope of work rule, standards 1 and 2, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, and advisory opinion 2 apply to that situation. An assignment type, advocacy. An example is an individual who is an appraiser is asked to represent one party in a court proceeding. Does USPAP apply? Yes, it does. When acting outside of appraisal practice and the role is not misrepresented is how USPAP applies in that situation. An assignment type, assessment appeals. An example is an appraiser is asked to work for a property owner in an assessment appeals hearing. Does USPAP apply? Yes. When acting outside of appraisal practice and the role is not misrepresented is how USPAP applies in that situation. And lastly, an assignment type is contingent fee. An example is an appraiser agrees to be compensated for the appraisal only when the loan closes. Is this allowed by USPAP? No, because of the management section and ethics rule is how USPAP applies in that situation.